On. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this very interesting stream. We're going to be taking a look at the Swashbuckler class in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and if possible, I'd like to see if I can get some thoughts from the rest of the community as to whether or not the Swashbuckler is good and I'm overlooking something, or if the Swashbuckler is terrible and I was completely right. I want to believe that I'm wrong. I really want to believe that I'm missing something, but let me move my overlay around. How do I do this? Give me a sec. Well, let me not show my login credentials. Let me just move this to the right side. Hi, Miss Payday. Thank you so much for the lurk, first and foremost. Okay. So as it stands, the Swashbuckler clocks in at the lowest rating of any martial class and is tied for the worst class on the whole with the Oracle. I know that the APG classes are pretty dog shit, comparatively speaking, but I didn't know to what extent they would be dog shit. And as it stands, the APG classes are 4 of the 5 worst classes in the game according to my standards. According to MAPS. MAPS, of course, standing for Matt's Arbitrary Power Scale. And I really, as much as I want to place the Swashbuckler higher, I feel like these numbers are completely accurate. Let's start with the easiest one. Out of combat utility. What do the Swashbucklers get that other classes don't in terms of their skill feats, class features, etc.? I don't believe they gain any relevant class feats outside of combat. Let me just bring up the Swashbuckler. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Swashbuckler, I don't think they get any out of combat stuff. Okay. Whenever you succeeded a check during exploration that would have granted you panache in combat, you gain a +1. Okay, that's completely worthless. It's never going to come up. Okay, it's not completely worthless. It's just very situational. Okay. These are still all combat abilities. They don't get anything. Okay, no. Okay, so this is the problem with opportune riposte. The only time an enemy is going to critically fail against you is on a natural 1. Like, you just don't have the defense to actually make opportune ripostes, which is the sad part. I wish you could use this more often. I think if it just says a foe within your reach fails a strike, and then you can only make it disarm, I think that would actually be so much better and so much cooler than having to critically fail. because the disarm isn't guaranteed success, and it is using athletics. Your athletics is always going to be slightly worse than where it should be because your key ability score is always dexterity instead of strength. What was I going on about? But it's better than nothing, is what I will say. And you can increase it to expert before you get expert in your weapon strikes too, so that is not for nothing. But going back to this, so the out of combat utility, the only thing that the Swashbuckler really gets is that able to be read well? If you full screen it, it's read easily. But let me just increase the zoom. Let's do that. I think that makes things a bit easier to read. Their out of combat utility basically lies on 3 skill feats that they get its 3rd, 7th, and 15th, I believe. Stylish tricks. 3rd, 7th, 15th, you gain a free skill feat. This must be for acrobatics or the trained skill from your Swashbuckler style. Let's take a look at the acrobatics skill feats. They don't have a legendary. Acrobatics does not have a legendary feat. That's not what I wanted. Where the fuck are the... Oh, okay. I'm blind. So there are... I don't... Okay, quick identification is not going to be relevant for this one. So we have acrobatic performer, garbage. Catfall, okay, you should already have that. I don't understand why you're waiting for the free feat to get it. I think the best one here is Kip Up at 7th. But what are you realistically taking at these levels? And this is also... So at 15th level, yeah, you could get an extra feat for when you get legendary in. But why wouldn't you put it in acrobatics? Is my question. I don't see why you would. Aerobatics Mastery is nice, but you're not going to have a fly speed at 7th. So that's something you'd have to take later. Steady Balance is okay. And roll success with the balance that you get a critical success. Thanks to your incredible... This sentence doesn't matter because your reflex and acrobatics will be approximately equal. I think reflex will actually most likely be better in almost every scenario. So that's not relevant. Nimble Crawl is whatever. Quick Squeeze is whatever. So now we have to look at their... We have to look at their styles. And I already know 3 are garbage. We can immediately cross out Gymnast because you gain panache when you make grapple, shove, or trips. It doesn't count for disarm? Hello? How can you honestly give this... I don't understand. How can you not give this for disarm? I feel like that was an oversight. I'm gonna put some music in the background. Okay. Give me a sec, sorry. Okay. So let's take a look at the styles here. Exemplary Finisher comes at 9th, so we have to consider that. But in all honesty, how much is it worth? Because that's only 60% of your adventuring career. And in any case, let's look at the styles. Gymnast is horrible. If you pick Gymnast to leave right now, you gain panache when you grapple, shove, or trip. The problem with this, these are all attacks. So your finisher, if you decide to finish on the same round, you gain panache, will either be at full base attack because you decided to tumble through, or it'll be at -5 or -4 if you're wasting your time with an agile weapon. But it'll be at a -5 -5. Which is so statistically horrible that I can't recommend this. If your foe is grabbed, restrained, or prone, you get a circumstance bonus to the damage roll equal to twice the number of damage dice. That's not for nothing. But the initial benefit from levels 1 through 8 are just horrible. You basically don't have a style. So you would either need to have someone else on your team that can do this. I mean, honestly, the best way to do this is to just get an animal companion, get a wolf companion, and then have them auto knock prone with this support maneuver. But that's not necessarily easy to do. So, okay, Gymnast is better than I thought it was, but this is still a very situational bonus. And you're still attacking at a -5 if you're the one doing the grabbing, restraining, or tripping. I mean, these exemplary finishers are good. These are all good. But the initial benefit's kind of whatever. Wit doesn't do anything for you. Wit's a great support option. But Bon Mode doesn't help you. Like, it gets you panache, sure, but it doesn't make your opponent flat-footed. It doesn't reduce their DCs or anything like the Frightened condition would inflict. It reduces their will saves. Whoop-de-doo. Does anybody care? I certainly don't. A Swashbuckler definitely should not. So I rate Wit very lowly. Exemplary Finisher is nice. But here's the problem. They could just attack someone else. Which is what you want, because as I previously rated, the Swashbuckler's durability is kind of crappy. It's a 6 out of 10. You know, I'm reevaluating durability. I think I should be rating hit points per level higher, and I actually want to give the Barbarian a 7. I want to give the Barbarian a 7, even though its AC is shit, and will get crit all day, because they do get resistance through Raging Resistance, and they also have 20% more hit points than every other class. 20% is not for nothing. The difference between 10 and 12 every level adds up. Like at higher levels, you're eclipsing 300 hit points pretty easily. I'm debating giving this a 7, but we'll hold off on that. We're not talking about the Barbarian tonight. I think my volume's on a little high. Okay. So I really think that the only two... What does Fascinating do? This condition ends if a creature uses hostile actions against you or any of your allies. Okay, so Fascinated doesn't actually do anything. For all intents and purposes, Fascination is irrelevant. Battle Dancer is cool, and the Exemplary Finisher does give good mobility. The free step is worthwhile, because you can either turn your attention to someone else, you can get out of flank. The enemy has to waste an action on you, most likely to get an attack on you. But I really do think the breadwinners here are Braggart and Fencer. Feinting is really good. Because getting flat-footed is really good. Without needing to flank. Of course, flanking is amazing. But demoralization is really good. Demoralization. I think Braggart is the best option here. I think demoralization is really, really handy because they suffer a -1 status penalty to all checks and DCs. So the armor class goes down, their attack goes down, and the exemplary finisher is really, really good. What the fuck? Oh, I have autoplay on. Oh, there's an advertisement. Sorry about that. I'm doing this on Firefox. I just downloaded it, so I don't have an ad blocker yet because I've forgotten. So if we were to make a swashbuckler, let me just open up Path Builder. If we were to make a swashbuckler, it'd have to be intimidation. Well, it wouldn't have to. It'd have to be intimidation or braggart or fencer. What I did find is that goblins are like the best swashbucklers, and also rogues for that matter. But the reason why goblins are so good is because of one of their ancestry feats. It's locked behind Unbreakable, but Unbreakable is the best goblin heritage to begin with. It doesn't fucking matter. Oh, did I start doing this already? Okay, whatever. Bouncy Goblin is really good. It's a +2 circumstance bonus to acrobatics checks to tumble through. And I think this is a necessity. I really do think you need to have it. I don't need to pick that yet, because I'm going to get it anyway. Actually, no, I'm not. So I'm just going to put it in Deception, whatever. Swashbuckler, so I'm going to go Braggart. Whatever. Okay. What weapon are we using? It's important to choose a good one. And we have to pick a finesse weapon. Because what are the conditions under which we can actually use Swashbuckler's Panache? Or Precise Strike. Any agile or finesse melee weapon. Any melee weapon. I don't think we're getting higher than a D8. I don't think this is a finesse D10 in the game. Elven Curved Blade is a D8. Dueling Sword is a D8. Bladed Scarf or Dog Slicer. Dog Slicer is the most thematic. Agile Backstabber Finesse. But ideally, oh, maybe there's no Agile D10, is there? There's no Agile D8 either, other than Tiger Claw. And Wolfjaw, I guess, too. I didn't know Wolfjaw had Agile and Finesse. That's pretty good, actually. How's it going, Loki? Nice to see you, dude. It's funny that you mentioned it. Bladed Scarf only was given finesse in the most recent update, and his damage dice was lowered to a D6. The obvious choice is the Rapier, because reasons. Deadly D8, finesse, disarm. Disarm is whatever. Is there a pick with the agile? The light pick is agile. You could just use a light pick, and that would work just fine. Let me throw on the music again. Oh, it stopped for whatever reason. So I think for just to get it over with, Orc Knuckle Dagger. That's interesting. Let's just pick a rapier and just enjoy our lives for the time being. I work right now, so listening and chiming when you can. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I just feel like it doesn't matter what you pick. What do we pick as our class feat? You're next. Attempt an intimidation check with a +2 circumstance bonus. I think it has to be this one. I mean, these are all nice, but we're not looking for defense here. I think your next is the best option here, just because if you're tumbling through, you can get into position to attack, you finish, get a kill, and then you're next, and then that's... Oh, but it's a reaction, though. It's still, I think... It's still good, but I don't... Honestly, I think the best way to place... Oh, okay. Well, you can't. Okay, you can't. Okay. Honestly, I think just playing a rogue would be better. Let me actually do that. Let me just bring up a rogue. Let me just bring up a rogue and just see if we can't do it better. Because then they just get sneak attack on the... Because you get tumble behind. Hold on, let me reread this feat. Let me reread this feat. Because I'm looking at Unbalancing Finisher. Unbalancing Finisher versus Tumble Behind. You hit and deal damage to the target is flat-footed until the end of your next turn. That's really helpful, and it affects everyone. Shield and parry options? Okay. Yeah. Because let's look at the parry. Let's look at the parry feats. Let's say we're playing a defensive-oriented swashbuckler. Antagonize. That's not bad, but you don't have really the bulk to deal with it. Twin parry is terrible. Because you can just do that at level 1 with dueling parry. You plus 2 circumstance bonus until the start of your next turn. Okay. So this basically lets you do something you could already do at level 1 if you're using 2 weapons, but you're not using 2 weapons because you can't really 2-weapon fight with a Swashbuckler unless you gain panache from the very beginning and then never use a finisher. And then you just accept the 2 bonus damage. Okay, that's actually not for nothing. That's actually not for nothing. Is it enough to bump them to an 8 in terms of expected damage? I think not. But I think that prevents them from falling to a 6. I think 7 was a completely accurate assessment. So I think there's merit. I think there's merit in playing a Swashbuckler with after you, accepting the fact that you're always going to go last, staying in panache for the entire fight, and then just never using finisher until you're ready to finish the combat. I think there's actually a lot of merit to doing that, now that I think about it. Where's my short sword? I think that's actually not bad. I think that's not bad. Does the Eldori dueling sword, is that one? That's one-handed, right? Finisher, your next gain panache line. That is true. That's also another very valid point. So I actually gave the Swashbuckler a mobility of 8. I had it as a 9, but now that I was like, they're not going to be in panache all the time, yada yada yada, so maybe it's an 8, but now that I'm thinking about it again, I think it might actually be a 9. If you're always in panache, your movement speed is just as good as the monks, but you don't get a fly speed. There's no way you can naturally gain a fly speed through this. But yeah, you bring up a very good point that you could panache finisher, kill something, and then you're next into something else. Another thing to consider is your stat line. What stats? What are your best secondary stats? Right? Because I'm thinking something like 18 dex, 14 strength and charisma, and 12 con, or is there any way to, or 16 charisma. I think 16, if you can get a stat spread like this, 18 dex, 16 charisma, 14 strength, I think you're in business. Maybe you just maybe there's a strategy in dumping wisdom, taking after you, and then just intentionally going last. Let your teammates buff you, and then get started with panache as soon as turn 1 begins. You do lose all priority and the ability to strike first, but you don't have to use this. I think there's merit. I don't think there's a lot of merit, but I think there's merit. It's definitely not for nothing. Maybe an Eruxy would be. Because I know they have an intimidate feat thing. Because they're, what are they? Strength, wisdom? I would want strength, dex, charisma. So you'd have to. Hey, Synagos, thanks for stopping by. Hello, welcome in. We're doing some Pathfinder discussions because I'm not satisfied with one of the classes. Or maybe I'm just bad. Because if we have panache and we're two-weapon fighting... So the analysis of this class is by the class itself. It's not with respect to archetypes. I think that if I were to dedicate into dual-weapon warrior... I think we might have something going in there. But I'm going to take another look at just the Swashbuckler class feats. Because so far I'm still not sold. I weigh 20th level feats a lot lower. Because, so this is a holistic analysis for those of you watching. 20th level feats are supposed to be completely broken and bullshit. That's why they're 20 level. Is this being recorded and scripted? No, this is just completely off the cuff. Welcome in, Chris. I'm glad you made it. Like, I know these feats are supposed to be amazing as you go down, but like, I want you to take a look at this feat. I was looking at this feat earlier, and I'm like, it can't be that bad, right? So if you're an expert in athletics, grapple, shove, trip now have map -4. So it doesn't increase your first bonus, and it doesn't help you get panache. The second problem is if you're finishing with this ability, you can't, it's like, when does this ability come into use? Like, I don't think this is even good if it was a first level ability, or I guess a second level, third, fourth level ability, fourth level feat. Because let's take a look at this. Let's say you're a gymnast, Swashbuckler. Your first action is to either stride or tumble through. If you have panache, if you succeed, you have panache. If you don't, you don't. Let's say you succeed, you have panache on your tumble through. If that is successful, the next action that you're going to make is probably going to be a finisher. And if you finish, you can't use this ability. So the only scenario where this is good is if you fail in your first action. And I just can't imagine a world where this is good. This is a 6th level feat, by the way. You want to know what else is a 6th level feat? This. This feat is directly competing with Attack of Opportunity. What is this? It's a fighter feat. It's like you're competing with Attack of Opportunity to do what? Combination finisher. Your finisher strikes have a lower multiple attack penalty. Like, I just can't wrap my mind around this. Because your finisher is your last attack of the turn. You can't use this ability in the way that people would ideally want to use this ability. So I just don't buy it. This honestly should be like a 2nd or a 4th level ability. The fact that it has to compete with Attack of Opportunity. Does finisher have to be the last attack? Yeah. Like, quite literally, yes, it must be your last attack. I looked at it. Once you use a finisher, you can't use any actions that have the attack trait for the rest of your turn. That means you can't use athletic maneuvers either, and you also can't take the escape action, which you're probably not going to in the first place, but the fact that you can't do that is ludicrous. Is absolutely ludicrous that there's so much of a penalty for using a finisher. If it was just you lose panache, like they should just rework this ability. They should just rework this ability And instead of it being a finisher, maybe it's like, I don't even know what you would call it, but you just use the attack, you do the extra damage, and then are out of panache. Like, I love the concept of panache being an on-off feature rather than being a pool of resources you have in a day, like they did in Pathfinder 1. But is there any way I can set this on loop? Because I would like to loop this, ideally. Athlete Swashbuckler broken. Hey, what's up, Marshy? You're just in time for me to absolutely shit talk how fucking bad Gymnast Swashbuckler is. Because here's the problem. Here's the problem right here. In the text of Finisher, let me zoom this in for all of you to see. Once you use a Finisher, you can't use any actions that have the attack trait for the rest of your turn. And I want you to guess which actions have the attack trait. Grapple, shove, disarm, trip. All of those. And escape, mind you. And escape. So it just baffles the mind. Play like a dude in bed, never finish. Is that... I'm not going to make that joke. It's too soon. I'm not going to make that joke. Not gonna make that joke. That's how I know I've matured as a person. 21-year-old Matt would have made that joke in a heartbeat. So yeah, I banned. Yeah, feels bad. I was just talking about agile maneuvers. The 22-year-old Matt doesn't. Haha, got him. Because I look like a fucking high schooler. Like, how is this feat good? I don't understand how you can call this feat good. And I've already said it once, and I'll say it again. I'll say it again. This feat is just completely useless. Say it again. This agile maneuvers is completely useless, and it competes directly with attack of opportunity. So this might as well read feat 8. This might as well read feat 8. And it's like, what is this? What actually is this? Is there any finesse agile? Is there a finesse weapon that lets you trip? I'm curious. I'm actually very curious, because I want... Whip? What about the Scorpion Whip? What about the Scorpion Whip? Okay, the Scorpion Whip gets it. Disarm, finesse, reach, trip. It's not bad. It's uncommon though, that's true. Maneuver from reach? Yeah. You can trip from reach. I mean, you can do it with a bow staff, but a bow staff isn't... It obviously isn't finesse nor agile, so... Let's just control F trip. Spiked chain. That's a two-handed weapon. Tekokagi is some weeb shit that I don't care about. Temple sword. Not agile nor finesse. War flail, not agile nor finesse. Ackless is an advanced weapon. You're not trained in those. Bladed Diabolo is another advanced weapon. You just don't believe in the maneuvers. Okay. This is the problem with the maneuvers. You can't finish and also have the maneuver in the same round because you're attacking at a -5. Well, okay, hold on. Actually, no, that's not true. You're attacking at a -3. I'm still not a believer. I'm really not a believer, dude. Because let's say you stride, trip, and then finish. Right? Stride, trip, finish. Maneuver and then chat through that finisher? Yeah, dude. Oh, I'm just so... So I came to the conclusion... There's a feat that gives you superhero movement with Panache. I mean, you just get normal movement. But then you're not getting the damage. If you don't use your finisher, you're basically a fucking barbarian who needs to succeed at a check in order to rage. So this is the Swashbuckler. Yeah, okay, if you can do 20 push-ups in 1 minute, you can get the same bonus damage as a barbarian in rage, except not even. Like, they have to jump through all these hoops to be less good than the other classes. And that's what really pains me. It's like, why can't you just be good? Why is fun not an argument? Because every class is fun. What if it fits really? What if it's... Imagine not picking a class for RP reasons, bro. What do you mean what do you mean my 20 human fighters aren't? Are you shit talking my 20 human fighters that I'm planning on playing? Okay, I am now completely convinced that the Swashbuckler deserves a 9 in mobility, but I'm not convinced that they're as good as the Alchemist. and that's not a phrase I thought I'd ever say. When talking about Pathfinder 2, God, Pathfinder 1E Alchemist was so good. When Wrath of the Righteous comes out, wait, how the fuck did Druid get higher than Sorcerer? Because Druids cast... Okay, so Druid versus Sorcerer... We're going completely off topic now. Druid casts off a better stat. They have light and medium armor proficiencies in addition to getting their saving throws increased at quicker levels. They have better out-of-combat utility due to their focus spells. A wizard. Arcane is better than not Arcane. I'm not actually convinced that the wizard's out of combat utility. This might be a 7. I was going for improved familiar attunement and also spell substitution. If you prepared an incorrect spell, you can change it, and because wizards are prepared casters... Oh, Druid versus Wizard? Oh, I'm sorry. Druids aren't as squishy. They have better saves, better HP, better casting stat, and as a result of that, better will saves. They get shield block innate. Shield block innate actually isn't an argument. How Druid get above Oracle? I mean, they're just built different. Okay, durability. Okay, maybe durability is a 7. I don't think it is. They get medium armor base, which is actually not for nothing. Not spellcasting tradition RPG. What? What are you arguing? Map plays by golf rules, right? Wait, hey, Marsh, aren't you running a game in like now? Because if you're not, who the fuck am I supposed to host? Six players? Oh, rip. Because I was going to host you guys after that. Fuck. Wizard? I'm not... Okay, so this is the problem with wizards. Everyone picks Universalist, and here's the problem with Universalist. They're actually worse jack of all trades than dedicated spell school wizards, which completely baffles the mind. It completely baffles the mind that Universalist wizards are not as good as being Universalist as literally any other wizard. But that's a story for another day. Let's go back to the Swashbuckler. Let's go back. Let's go back. Combination finisher is just... It's like, why does this feat exist? Why does this feat exist, dude? If you're attacking with map, your biggest damage shouldn't be with map. Actually, let's do the math. Swashbuckler, maybe. Universalist is boring. It is boring. It's boring and it's bad. That's like the worst of both worlds. I pick the boring shit because it's good, but I would never pick a boring option if it's terrible. That's just window capture. I'm gonna set notepad. All right, let's do some math. Swashbuckler. To be fair, class being good only needs to have 1 good feat per level. That's true. Versus at level enemy. Assume panache. Assume no panache. Assume first. Okay, assume first hit finisher. Assume versus second hit finisher. Given combination finisher. Weapons. One primary weapon is going to be rapier. +1 striking. Second offhand is going to be a short sword. +1 striking as well. That's what I was thinking, Marshy. That's what my consideration. Well, okay. So for the intents and purposes of this class, it is assuming that there will be no dedicating, because this is an analysis of the class, not an analysis of a character. A character is much different than the class. So damage. So okay, let's take case 1. Case 1. First action was to gain panache. Second action to strike. Third action to jerk off. I don't know. Case 2. First action was to gain panache. Second action to strike. Third action to finish. Second action to finish, sorry. Something tells me case 2 is going to have a higher expected damage. So expected damage. Let's say there's no penalties. Let's just do average enemy stats Pathfinder 2e. Let me just go to the Firefox tab actually. Building creatures. Man, I'm really hoping that this Firefox suggest isn't gonna link some really unsafe porn. What? Armor class. Okay, let's assume it's a 6th level versus moderate. Let's just say 23 versus AC 23. Why using Firefox? Because if I have Chrome and OBS open at the same time, terrible things happen. I mean, if your first action in a turn was to gain panache and you attack, you might as well just wait till the next turn. No, but you can finish and then do another action that gets you panache, assuming you picked braggart like a smart person. Enemy, no penalties. Kind of like a jealous girlfriend when it comes to RAM. Yeah, you're right. So what's your to hit? So +6 level, so +10 from training, +4 from key ability score, +1 item, so +15. So you hit on 8, crit on 18. Damage is going to be... When does your panache increase? Is it at 7 or is it at 5? It increases at 5. So that's an extra 3. So damage is 2d6 plus... Let's assume 16 strength. Let's assume 16 strength. Plus 3d6. Crit damage is... So that's 5d6 plus 3. 5d6 is 17 and a half, so that's 20 and a half. 20.5 damage. With the crit damage being 41 plus another d8, so that's 45 and a half. Okay. So on a 1 hit, there's a 50% chance to hit. So that's 0.5 times 20.5 plus 0.15 times 45.5. Okay. That's 17.075 damage. I feel like that's worse than like a first level fighter versus an at-level enemy with double slice. I guess you can't assume that though, because because things scale on a per level basis. Okay, whatever. So this is case 1. Case 1. So now let's say case 2. So it's plus 15 to hit, plus 15, plus 12. Finisher on the second. Damage is going to be the same. So let's just say first damage, and then second damage. Is going to be 2d6 plus 3. Plus, oh no, sorry, the first damage is going to be different. It's not plus 3d6, it's just plus 3. So that's 13. Because 2d6 average is 7, plus another 6 is 13. Crit damage is 26 plus 1d8, which is 30.5. And then the second damage is 2d6 plus 3 plus 3d6. Which is 17, 20 and a half. And our crit damage is just 41. What about a third case with no finishers? Assuming you're attacking 3 times in a round. Okay, so here's the thing. If we're going back to combination finisher, the map bonus only applies if it's on a finisher, because it states your finisher strikes. So I'm going to assume that I'm not going to assume the case where you don't use a finisher. If you're not using a finisher, you might as well not even be playing it. You might as well have picked a different class, because this is not going to be helping you in any way, shape, or form. So your first attack is going to be the same as last time, 0.5 times 13 plus 0.15 times 26. 30.5, sorry. That's a 6 damage penalty. And in the second case, so in order for this to be worth it, this has to deal at least 6 damage on average. So your second attack, so it's plus 15 plus 12. So second attack hits on 11, crits on 20. Because it doesn't crit on 19. 19 would be a 31. Yeah, okay. So it would be 0.45 times 20.5 plus 0.05 times 41. We could assume a non-agile weapon, but I don't think the math checks out. And I'm honestly too lazy to do it. Actually, this comes out to be significantly increased damage. I was about to say, if the damage differential is negligible, then I'd say don't even bother. But you're actually expected to deal more damage, assuming that my math is correct. So that's 22.35 minus 17.075 divided by 17.075. That's a 31% increase in damage. That's a 31% increase in damage, which is not negligible. It is very much not negligible. So I think there is a lot of merit to finishing on your second action. Or on your second attack. You just need a reliable way to gain more panache. And that's through Tumble Through. I'm not even going to make this analysis if you've already used a maneuver. It is no way going to be in your favor. Okay, so we discovered something tonight. Okay, so let's compare it. Let's compare it. Let's not compare it to... Let's just compare this to a monk. No, it's not fair. Yeah, let's just compare it. So let's assume a monk, let's say versus a monk with 3 attacks. So that's 2d8. So let's just say 2d8 plus 4. Yeah. 2d8 plus 4. And they're going to have similar attacks. So plus... Let's say they use their first action to stance, whatever. So it's plus 15, plus 11, plus 7. Say they're using wolf stance or whatever. Make an athlete one of these to prove you wrong, or be playing a miserable bad character. I mean, if you select Swashbuckler, haven't you already done that? So it's 0.5. So this is what is this average? 9 is 13. No. Yes. 0.5 times 13 plus 0.15 times 26. If the second attack is a plus 11, it hits on 12, so that's a 0.40 to hit. 0.4 times... 6.5. So, okay, so this is just... Well, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, Loki. Appreciate it. So this is just a base monk with like tiger stance, wolf stance. This isn't anything out of the ordinary. And they're already doing 16.9. So if they only get one action to strike, they're averaging 16.9 damage. Versus what the Swashbuckler had to do. Hey, what's up, Insidious Leatherface? Yeah, this is second edition. The Swashbuckler had to spend another action to get panache, and on a successful finisher is dealing like to deal 1% more damage. To deal 1% more damage, they had to set up another action with panache. And let's assume we get the third attack in. Third attack is at +7, we hit on 16. That means there's a 20% chance. If you say Pathfinder 2E is bad, then I'm going to ban you. Not even counting Lucky Force. No, I'm assuming an action was taken to either stride or use the stance. Because I don't think it's necessarily reasonable to assume that. It's still 3.9. That's 20.8. And if they do, by some stroke of luck, gain a fourth attack because crit fishing, their EDV is 24.7, which is really good. 24.7 EDV is like a quarter of an enemy's health. I don't think it's fair to make this assumption, but I mean, there are opportunities where all you want to do is just strike a lot of times. Although it's probably better to use Assurance, Athletics, or whatever. But in any case, yeah, 22.35. So I think this establishes that a dual weapon Swashbuckler is the best way to go. Let's go back to their feats. Did you count for flat-footed with tumble? I did not. I assumed no penalties. We can assume the penalty, though. Let's say we have tumble behind. Both cases tumble behind. Because this is the problem. This is the problem when I include tumble behind. You have to take the case where you fail on your first action. You can't assume that their first action is successful, and then taking expected damage value from there. I would have to make two separate. Oh, dude, that's so much math, man. Because I have to first make the assumption that reflex is their average save, and then do the expected % chance of them being oh my fucking lord, that's way too much math, man. I can't do that. I assume it would be better for the Swashbuckler. So let's assume tumbling through. We can assume tumble through. Because this effectively gives it a 10% chance to hit, and a 10% chance to crit. So let's make this 0.16, 0.25. This becomes 0.5, and this becomes hits on 9, crits on 19. So I'm going to do the second case first. Hold on, let me save this math before I... Let me save this math before I do something stupid. Hits on 9 would be 0.55, right? No. It's never more than 0.50 because 19 is a crit. So from 9 to 18, that's a hit. 19 and 20 would be a crit. Yeah. So this is versus flat-footed target. So this hits on 9, crits on 19. Damage values are the same. This becomes 0.5, 0.25. This becomes 0.5, 0.15. Okay. Yeah, that increases their expected damage to over 30. Which is really good. 30, the difference between 24 point... What was the number? 22.35? That's a 36.6 increase, or percent increase to damage, which is by and large amazing. Everyone knows. Yeah. Every swashbuckler gains... When you had first action to game Panache originally, what would that be that doesn't require roll like tumble through? It could be Bon Mot, or a maneuver, or feint, or intimidation. But I'm assuming that you're not starting the turn adjacent. I'm also considering the feat where you go last. Where you can automatically gain panache. So I think that feat is not for nothing. I'll be back in a second. I'm going to get some water. Trying to figure that going last. No, I think the reverse case is true. I think going last as a martial character is better. I think that going last is better because the enemies can run to you and use their actions to attack you. And then your casters also have time to buff. You always choose to go last with your Oracle because you never choose to use buff spells for some reason. So in your case, you can wait until your teammates take damage and then reactively heal them instead of proactively giving them the tools to kill the opponents before they get a chance to kill us. But, you know, I digress. So I think if we're looking at a build here, why don't you just stop taking damage? I'm trying, dude! I'm literally playing the damage prevention class, or the... I'm sorry that my AC is literally only as physically fucking high as it possibly can be. You know what's funny? At level 20, I'm gonna have 49 AC, and I'm pretty sure Dahak still crits me on like a 7. Hey guys, he only crits me on a 7 instead of a 2. You don't know what I'm doing, dude? I'm telling you, just prep hero. You don't even prep. It's just heroism, dude. Just buffs. All you have to do is prep buffs. It's not like blasting is just. I mean, I don't have time to tell you how to play support. But that's lame. That's what happens when you play support. I think you're forgetting what the word support means. Not like this, yeah. It is pretty sad because, I mean, playing support can suck. Like, all you do is heal and buff, but that's what wins combats. Okay. Yeah, After You, I think, is pretty good. I actually think it's really good. I actually think you need to fucking... I think... Because... And now it means you can dump wisdom and not need to take incredible initiative ever. Any good debuffs in Pathfinder 2e spell-wise? Fear, heightened 3rd level. Is a good one. Synesthesia is a really good debuff. Clerics don't get synesthesia. That's an occult-only spell. And it's also a 5th. It's like, but fear is really good early on. So okay, let me go back to my path builder. I'm building a goblin swashbuckler with a bonus to... Do I want dueling parry? Do I care about defense? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say... Oh, this doesn't have Temple behind. Never mind. We can still have dueling parry. Dueling parry's fine. After You, I think, is pretty good. Swaggering Initiative is now for nothing. Oh, we can't take dueling parry because we're not dueling. We have 2 weapons. With Tumble Behind and Frightened 3? No. I refuse. So I think it's your next. You can take your next here. Because it's a reaction. That's pretty good, actually. I'm not going to worry about skill feeds. It's whatever. What would you take it 4th? Twin parry? So if you took the twin parry, your secondary weapon couldn't be the short sword. Well, it could be. You just wouldn't get the full bonus. Which of these have parry? Oh, you could sword cane. Oh, it's only exquisite, which is 90 gold. Hook sword. Because I was gonna say just use the main gaucher, yeah. Let's assume you can get the exquisite sword cane. Let's just assume you could use the exquisite sword cane. Because it is an agile 1d6 piercing. Let's just assume that you had it. Let's assume that you had it. And spent all your gold on that, plus 1 striking weapon and a doubling ring. The sheath is a weapon for free. Yeah. Ooh. So let's say you for some reason you forgo attack. I mean, you already have two reactions at this point. You don't need AOO, and then you take combination finisher. I actually don't think this needs dual weapon warrior, because finisher is its own thing. It's its own action. You can't finish as a part of Twin Strike. Oh, actually, though. Does this apply finisher bonus on each attack? Actually, though, I think dual finisher just makes this class do like a butt ton of damage. I have to look up how finishers work again. If the strike is part of a finisher, the additional salmon. Okay. Okay, we figured it out. At 8th level, the damage actually increases to a ludicrous amount. I think this might be enough to put it up to. This is definitely enough to put it up to an 8, in my opinion. I think this is enough to put it up to an 8. Twin finisher. That's really good. That's really, really good, actually. But the problem is, the Swashbuckler still falls completely short in it. Well, does the action economy now improve? Because now you're getting 2 actions for 1 attack, and have a way to gain defense, and you have your next, which is your reaction, so you don't need to worry about spending an action to intimidate to regain panache. You have damage. Is that enough to bump its action economy up to a 5? And I think it is. I think it's no. If I have the investigator's action economy as a 5, I don't think there's any possible reason as to why I couldn't give Swashbuckler an action economy of 5 with that same, behind the same reasoning. Given that reasoning, I think that's enough to say that the Swashbuckler is not worse than the Alchemist. Based no longer inferior to the Alchemist? Yeah, right. Okay, I proved to myself that the Swashbuckler's expected damage and mobility are enough to catapult it over the Alchemist. Oh, this is such a low bar to hurdle, dude. And it propels them out of D tier. So now I need to prove to myself that the Oracle is not. is not this completely terrible. But okay, I think this was productive. I think this was productive. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay. When did this feat come out? Was this in the APG? Okay, I just completely overlooked this. I'm glad I took a look at this. Actually, this is fucking ridiculous. In terms of damage, this is nuts. So let's just assume the same modifiers apply. Let's assume the same modifiers apply. So first hit is 2d6 plus 3d6 plus 3. That's 5d6. That's what, 21 and a half? No, it's 17 and a half. Did I do bad math before? I might have. My math might have been off before, but no one knew, so I'm going to assume that I was right. And then... No, okay, no. This should be 17.5 plus 3 is 20.5. No, my math was fine. That's 20.5. So that's 41 plus... It's 45.5. This is correct. Okay, so my math is actually... This looks really good for the Swashbuckler. That's really good. That's really, really good. That's a 17% increase to damage. Now I'd have to run the math on if it was a second and third attack. So it'd be plus 15... plus 11 plus 9. I love hearing that's really good after... Yeah, dude. I love being proven wrong, to be honest. And to think, all it takes is an 8th level feat. So from levels 1 through 7, Swashbuckler is really hard to play. But hey, once you hit level 8, it's looking good. It's looking really good. Level 6 is when things start picking up. When you can legitimately finish her as part of your third action. You can tumble through, stride, and then finish. And then starting at level 8, you can tumble through, strike, and then finish. And then you can make 2 actions. Okay, so I'm actually very happy with this. Hits on... This is versus AC 23. Hits on 8, 12, 20? No, 8, 12, 14. Crits on 18, 20, 20. This is the second and third attacks. I can leave that be. The first attack is going to be First attack. 2d6 plus 3 plus 3. Oh, this isn't factoring weapon specialization, so it should be another plus 2. So this is assuming an 8th level. Okay, so that's 7, 10, 15. 15 damage. Second attack will be 2d6 plus 3d6 plus 3 plus 2. That's 17.5 plus 5, 22.5. Will be the same. Where am I getting 20.5 from? Oh, because I forgot. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So if it hits on 12, that means it misses. That means it's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 8. It's a 0.4 to hit. But it's using the first. Oh, this should have been 45.5. I'm not gonna look at that. Not gonna look at that. This is 22.5. So it's the first one's 15 because we're not finishing on that one. Okay. 15 crit is 30 plus 4.5 because we're assuming rapier, sword, cane. $34.5. And this is just for the AC bonus. You could just use a short sword or a main gaucher, and the difference won't be significant. It's just 1 damage. This is 45. This is 49.5, and then this is 45. Because you're using primary offhand, primary offhand. Okay, I think this math is correct. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for an 8th level character, that's about 37.65. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. I think this convinces me. This convinces me that my Swashbuckler's expected damage was a bit on the low end. It might be a 9, to be honest. Let's compare it to a rogue. I actually think that this might outpace a rogue's damage. Let's say the rogue's getting sneak attack, but the AC is also 23. So they're using probably the same weapon, plus 15, plus... They're only getting 2 attacks, plus 11. And the sneak attack bonus... When does the sneak attack bonus increase? I think it's 5, 9, 13, 17. Oh, it's 5, 11. 5, 11, and 17. Yeah, because it's assuming they're using rapier short sword as well. It's going to be very, very similar. So that's... Yo, talking to you. Thanks so much for the resub, dude. 16 months. 16 months. I honestly think Swashbuckler's damage could be a 9, given the information, given the fact that you can apply Finisher to 2 attacks. And let's assume the rogue's always getting the sneak attack bonus. So plus 15, plus 11. This is for 2 weapons though, right? Yeah. We're assuming 2 weapon fighting in both cases. So let's say 2d6 rapier plus short sword. They're not even, rogues aren't even trained in the Sword Cane, so they have to use a short sword. It's plus 15 plus 11 and then damage 2d6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2d6. That's 7, 14, 18, 20. It's 20 damage. Crit is 40 plus 4.5, which is 44.5. And the damage on the short sword would be 2d6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2d6, which is also 20. Crit is just 40 though. So 0.5 times 20 plus 0.15 times 44.5 plus 0.5 times 20 plus 0.05. Oh no, this should be, no, this number is off. This should be 0.4, and this should be 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 3. Okay, so this damage isn't as ridiculous as I thought it was. The first number is correct. This is 11.475. What's the third number? 9. Okay. Okay, these numbers did calm down a little bit. $33.15. Okay, versus the rogue. Your rival? Yo, what's up? What's up, Willie? Okay. Okay. This is actually a very interesting number. Now let's assume the rogue's target was flat-footed and the swashbuckler's wasn't. So let's just say, let's just give the rogue a 15% accuracy bonus. Actually, this should be 0.4. Get Omega tilted, rib. That's why I don't play silent. This should be 0.4, not 0.5. Should be 10. That's actually so significant. Now let's give them a plus. Let's just give them the flat-footed bonus. So let's just increase that. Increase that. So they're hitting on 10, still only critting on 20. So let's just increase those numbers real quick. And I'm going to think that these numbers will end up being quite close. Yeah, these numbers are actually really close. Wow. Wow! The Swashbuckler actually has a higher expected damage target. Oh my god. What? What? The Swashbuckler outpaces the Rogue in terms of damage? That's actually crazy. Swashbuckler versus a non-flat-footed target does better than Rogue versus a flat-footed target? Oh my god. That's actually crazy. Do I swap the Rogue's and the Swashbuckler's expected damage? That means the Rogue really isn't doing that much damage. Honestly, this says a lot. This is so much, and I'm really glad I did this math. That if the Swashbuckler's expected damage, give it a couple weeks until Swashbuckler's actually the best class, the Swashbuckler actually have the highest expected damage? No, because the fighter gets this bullshit ability called Twin Strike. Or, not Twin Take, that was what it's called. What is it called? Fighter feats? Twin Strike? Is it Twin Strike? Double Slice. Okay, let's compare it to a fighter with Double Slice. Versus AC. This is versus AC 21. This is versus AC 23. So they have a plus 17 and a plus 14, 13. Rapier is just 2d6 plus 4 plus 3. That's 14. Crit is 28. So they hits on 6, crits on 16, hits on... Oh, what the fuck? There's a massive flying runner. Okay, nobody saw that. Hits on 10, crits on 20. That's actually looking pretty bad for the fighter. So that's 0.5 times 14 plus, if it crits, that's 0.25 times. I actually don't think this looks good for the fighter. Yeah, because their first attack is only 15.125. Not getting their sneak attack or versus a flat-footed target. Yeah, the fighter is only clocking in at like a 23.525, which seems really low. But let's assume that they... Wow. Are fighters actually bad? I must be missing something here. There's no way. Oh! Because if you're using double slice, you don't actually take a map penalty. Haha. So you're still hitting on 6 and critting on 16. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm like, wait a minute. There must be something wrong here. There was a problem in my math. That's 14. Still, the average damage value is not that particularly enticing. That's 14%. Swashbuckler is actually a 14% damage increase. Aren't you neglecting third attack? Well, here's the thing. Double slice is 2 actions. If I wanted to give... I don't think it would be fair to say that they're attacking 3 times, that they're each attacking 3 times in a round, because that assumes that they're already in melee. And if I were to do that, I'd have to assume that for the other classes as well. But just for posterity's sake, we can. Let's say we have a third attack. That's at -8. Hits on... Well, fighters could also be using picks. That's the other thing we didn't take care of. So hits on 14. So plus 17 plus 17 plus 9. Fifteen, 16, 14, 15, 16, 19. So if we're assuming that the fighter's getting a third attack, that's another 5.6. So they would have the highest damage output. It's much closer than I thought. Give me a sec. I have a fly to kill. It's too fast, dude. My parents just got home too. I'm glad to see that this is an important part of the stream. Okay, it landed. And then it took off again. Hello? There's a fly in here.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying. What happened? There's a fly in here.
Oh,
Yeah. You can hear it, right? It's like over here. It was over here.
shut the door.
Maybe it left. I don't hear it. If I hear it, I'll let you know. Okay. That dust looks like dust, yeah. I'll just leave this here.
Leave down, close the door. I'll leave this close though.
Okay. Funny how this is about Swashbuckler when I started playing Sea of Thieves. Yeah, right? Welcome in, Mugen. How are you doing? Swashbuckler actually good? Question mark? Super fun so far, only 2 days in. Okay, good to know. Okay, I think we proved everything we needed to prove, and I honestly think the Swashbuckler's expected damage is actually a 9. With just that 1 feat. I think their action economy is a 5, and I think they're at. Does 1 feat actually make such a significant difference? So this is where it stands. Swashbuckler jumped 2 spots in the rankings. It beats out the Alchemist and the Investigator, and is only 1 point behind the Barbarian. Wow. I'm really glad I did this, to be completely honest. Because now I successfully managed to prove to myself, and hopefully to you guys as well, that the Swashbuckler's damage is actually competitive, but you have to 2-weapon fight, which is not necessarily a bad thing. So let's finish the rest of the build. So dual finisher is a necessity. Combination finisher is also a necessity. Twin parry, probably a necessity. After you is really good, I think. What about later levels? Reflexive riposte is like a necessity. No, I think Daring Do might actually be better. When you compound Panache with even more Daring Do, something that tends to work out. When you already have Panache, you can roll twice with the higher... Oh, actually, no, that's terrible. Haha, Reflexive Riposte is what you need. So you can take your next and then also still be able to use Opportune Parry and Riposte. Mobile Finisher, yeah. Discord link expired. RIP. Oh, no, I just opened Chrome. I'm just going Nightbot. Okay, let me update commands custom. Try that. That one should work. Twin defense, I think, is necessary. I actually think this is pretty good. Okay, I think this is going to be the end of the stream. Thanks to everyone who came out. Really do appreciate it. This was a shorter stream, but I mean, this is a Pathfinder stream, so it's obviously going to be different than my normal ones. But I do appreciate all the support and all the people that did show up. Really was surprising, but I'm glad you guys at least enjoyed the content. Tomorrow we're going to be back with a game called Muck. It's a survival game kind of akin to Minecraft, but it's free. So it's free on Steam. So let me just grab you a link there in case anyone wants to join. I'd be more than happy to play with anyone really. But let's find someone to host. I was going to host Roll the Roll, but they're not streaming tonight, so that's awkward. This is the... Anyone here have any suggestions on who I should host? Because there's a bunch of Pathfinder streams going on that I'd love to interact with. And I don't have anyone on here that is currently streaming Pathfinder. Alright, I'm going to host... Oh, these guys are playing Age of Ashes. Penny for a Tale. Let's go raid them, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out, everybody. Take care. Oh, oops, that's not the raid command.